on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Chasing 300. And today we're starting with an early morning deadlift. Look how much better that form's gotten, guys. We can actually do a proper hip hinge movement. I know Coach Anand's very proud of me there. Felt good being able to put up 225 here for a couple reps. Again, the big thing is that hip mobility, not having any lower back pain here. So able to do reps here, we get a 275 up. Again, no lower back pain, decent form. I know it's a trap bar, but still pretty solid. Moved on up to 285, and somebody told me to deadlift barefoot. Actually felt really good. That was an interesting one. Might have to keep that for the future. So we decided to go ahead and see if we can put up 300, get our first metric over 300, putting on the extra weights here. It was an interesting one. Had to make sure we were all set here. Had to go grab on and make sure the form was good, make sure we counted this one. Get the right music in the headphones, of course. We were able to do it with relative ease. That was a real good one for us. And then, unfortunately, things took a turn. That next week, I ended up getting diagnosed with the flu. So I was KO'd for a couple weeks. That was miserable, but shout out to Coach Anand again here. What he did was he was able to program out a ton of mobility work, especially on the hips and shoulders for me. So even though I felt pretty miserable, was able to spend some time. That lacrosse ball became my best friend. Spent a lot of time working on the hip mobility and the shoulder mobility. Was able to do some light workouts as I started to feel better, do some band work, just so that I didn't lose strength while I was sick. Actually turned that time that was supposed to be miserable into a time of actual real good rest, and felt like my mobility improved. That if anything, I would have made gains there. I didn't make any losses despite not feeling great, which was a really cool thing to see how well he was able to program out, adjust based off of life happening. Really cool piece of our program. And even though this episode is big on the PRs and the driver distances and a lot of metrics that we're recording today, definitely wanted to slow down and show me working on the mobility work. It is such a foundational piece of what we do here at P4S Golf. You can build all the strength you want, but if it's not functional, if you can't actually move well, you're not going to play well. It's not going to translate to the course, and the risk of injury goes way up. So definitely really wanted to focus on how much time we spend on the mobility work. Small stuff like rolling out the calves, or the big things like the TFL and glute med are so important. And what's really cool here is we're going to see in this exercise, if you go to the first episode when I did this, not nearly the torso mobility that we have now. I'm able to get that elbow to touch the ground, actually able to fully extend and stretch out the arm. Really shows me that my torso mobility is improving. A little bit later on, you're going to see how that's impacted the swing, both on the speed and the distance, but also in my consistency and in contact, which is really big for us. But also had to show a lot of torso and lower body work today, because on this particular workout, despite it being a Friday, Coach Anand had a surprise for me. And that surprise was bench press and deadlift supersets on the same day. All this superset really sucked, I'm not gonna lie. At the end of this thing, actually felt really good, and decided that I was gonna see how much we had in the tank. We were gonna do another max out. Obviously these 135 was a solid warm-up. Went through some progressions here, and then we actually ended up throwing on 275 and 315 here. We got all ready to go, and then I realized that I should probably find a spotter. So I had to go grab Coach Anand here. And he thought he was getting me with this superset, but if I was going to be the last person in the building on a Friday, then so is he, and he's going to have to spot me. So we decided to try and throw up 275 on the bench press here for a PR. and we're able to do it pretty easily. That felt really, really good. Immediately moved into 315 on the deadlift. 3 plates was definitely a pretty cool milestone for me, considering we started hardly able to do one. Definitely said a very nice word there. And decided to see what we could do with 288. Again, moved it pretty well. And immediately into 335 on the deadlift. This was a really cool one to do back to back, going 288 to 335 in about a 40-second turnaround. That was awesome. And you know I had to get some swings in for you guys. This was pretty cool because these were some gamer swings, some warm-up swings. And the ball was going about as far as my max distance was when we first started this, which tells when we're swinging the club faster, but also making a lot better contact. And now we're going to start to get on it just a little bit. This was pretty cool. We actually swung this one 110. We're able to get up to 283, which is real cool. And very playable, which is big. As we really started to see how fast we could swing, got close, got a 293 there. And then bang, 313 yards, 312.9 to be exact, 298 on the carry. That was awesome. Ignore that it went 50 yards left. And on this next one again, being able to exceed 300 yards, but that one was down the middle. And here's where another tragedy struck. We hit 295 here. That one went up really easily. Felt good enough to jump 300. I think the haircut added to the bench press. And right here, feel really, really good, but bang. Our PT Chris helped with one finger, so unfortunately we cannot count that as hitting 300 just yet. Y'all let me know in the comments below if you would have counted it yourself, but decided to get some swings in, see what the speed was like, and bang, got up to 126 on the all-out speed, hitting 300, and fairly playable. This one was pretty cool. Ended up going 310, but pretty almost down the middle of the fairway. Again, 2 300-yard shots that are playable. As far as the actual progression, this is about 12 weeks in here, guys. Gamer speed's up to 115, so only a couple miles an hour gain there, but big gains on the all-out speed. Really shows that I'm actually able to use more of my body because of doing all that mobility work, which is big. Seeing these big jumps on the bench press and deadlift was cool too. 295, we're almost to 300. We should hit that by next episode with no problem. Should be on pace to be about 350, 360 on the deadlift too, which is going to be great. And then when we get into the driver carrying distances, these have seen huge jumps, going all the way from 261 to 298 on the carry in 12 weeks has been amazing. Same thing with the total, going from 277 to 312, really maximizing how we use the body. Y'all tune in next episode. Appreciate you watching.